Hey, everybody, Rob Drieslein here, Managing Editor, President of the Outdoor News Publications. We've got big fishing opener weekend unrolling here in the next few days. And joining me for a quick little video segment, I'm very pleased to have him, is Brad Parsons, the DNR Fisheries Chief. Brad, one of the most anticipated openers, I think, in recent memory.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be. Our license sales would certainly support that. It's obviously it's a strange situation for a lot of people. I kind of assumed I was planning to be up in Otter Tail County this week for the celebration type opener, but just because there isn't a celebration type opener doesn't mean it's not going to be here. Our license sales are way up this year.
Through the roof.
Yeah, they're 40% higher than last year. Now, granted, last year was kind of a crappy spring. I'm sorry about that word, but it's one of those things where weather drives license sales. When people are going to take their first trip drives license sales. But clearly, we've got new people coming in. One of the things that shows that greatly is we have a license for 16 and 17-year-olds doubled since last year. So that's really good news. And we're hoping these people who are coming back or maybe trying it for the first time are going to enjoy it and stick with it.
Brad, I looked at that Excel spreadsheet from your licensing folks, and I mean, these are the highest totals, the highest pre-opener sales this century. It's not just the past couple of years. It's pretty impressive. So I'd like to think maybe there's some people that maybe were dormant for a few years as anglers who are saying, gosh, I can't go to a ball game. I can't go to a restaurant. I'm going to get out and do some fishing again.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the three R's that people talk about are recruitment, retention, and reactivation. And I think a lot of this is that reactivation part. And then the recruitment of the younger folks. I mean, people are at home together with their families and they're looking for something to do. This is allowed. It's safe if you maintain proper social distancing. And we've got tremendous opportunities just about everywhere in the state. Another real good example, Rob, is that trout stamp sales are up 33% last year too. Of course, if you remember trout opener weekend, it was a beautiful weekend.
Right,
so
absolutely.
Weather plays a part as well.
Brad, you mentioned to Tim Spielman in his print story in Outdoor News this week, kind of encouraging folks to practice some patience out there. The landings, might be a little busier. There might be more people fishing, and than we've had in recent years. So be patient with one another.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is common sense, Rob. Honestly, if it's super crowded and there's a long line, have a backup plan. Utilize our lake finder, utilize other options on our website, like the Rec Compass or Fishing in the Neighborhood Guide or whatever it might be. And just be prepared, practice patience, be good neighbors to other folks who are there.
Definitely some good advice. Egg take. The DNR announced here a few weeks ago, not going to do any walleye egg take this year. I believe it's also going to apply to muskie stripping.
Yep.
And part of the message was, 1 year, not a big deal. Brad, I heard a little bit of reaction to that. Like, come on, is that the DNR just trying to make this sound better than it is? Flesh that out a little bit. Is missing a year of stocking? It wasn't just you guys. South Dakota said the same thing when they announced that they weren't doing any egg take. Flesh that out a little more.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important activity. Don't get us wrong. It was tough to not do that, but it was the right thing to do, and we had to make that decision. The reality is that most walleyes, you're not going to catch them or really want to even keep them until they're 3 or 4 years old. And all fisheries are composed of numerous year classes of fish. So, when you're catching walleye, you're catching fish anywhere from 2 to 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So that's why we say missing 1 year isn't that big of a deal. If it was something that we missed a couple in a row, that's absolutely correct. And that, again, don't forget, that's just for the lakes that we stock walleyes into. Our large lakes, a lot of other natural reproduction going on out there, all of our rivers, that's all natural.
Right.
And we supplement that, and we create opportunities where there wouldn't be otherwise.
Right.
But
that was a good point. Spielman and I were talking about that, and we brought that a couple of times, that, probably 70+% of the walleyes caught in Minnesota waters are coming off some of those other waters that aren't even stocked that you just mentioned, right?
Yeah. And we are going to be able to stock some fish. We're actually stocking some fish right now. It was a fairly mild winter here in the southern part of the state. We can't really do trap nets with social distancing, but we can electrofish. It's a big boat, so we can have 2 staff in there. So we're stocking fish right now.
All right, that's good
We'll be
news.
getting, yeah, and we will still be getting some fish from the private sector this fall as well, and we'll be back out there in the fall stocking those carryovers. They're real fish, and they've already made it through 1 year, so they're bigger, and their survival in lakes is going to be better.
I'm Rob Drusline, managing editor at Outdoor News. We're chatting with Brad Parsons, the DNR Fisheries Chief, about opener weekend, which kicks off on May 9th. Brad, will there still be creel surveys going on in some of our big lakes this weekend and throughout May and June?
Yeah, that is certainly the plan. We're working on that right now. It's a complex thing of getting things approved and all that, but we have certainly, at least on places like Mille Lacs and Red, we have legal reasons we need to do those, and so we're going to be trying to do those. A lot of the ones we had planned for other lakes, we're still working on that as well. Granted, we're only a few days away, but everything moves so fast in this decision-making world at this point in time that it's hard to tell. But we certainly intend to do that. Our creel surveys, angler surveys are really, really important to us, and it's a good way for us to interact with the public. But again, we're going to have guidelines in place, social distancing. We may not be measuring fish like we used to. And again, it's something to remember. People can think a fishing pole is about 6 feet long. We want to be smart, and we want to be safe out there for the public and for our staff.
On Wednesday, the DNR did issue its press release, explaining new close-to-home guidelines to minimize potential virus transmission. We got 3 basic bullet points. Urging anglers, no overnight stays, bring needed supplies with you, and only go as far as you can travel and return on a single tank of gas or single charge on your electric vehicle. Probably not a fun press release to be involved with writing, huh, Brad? But you and the DNR feel this is necessary to try to contain this COVID-19 situation.
Yeah, I mean, what close to home means a lot of things to different people, and there are people who have cabins. It's a very complex situation. The good thing is that we're in Minnesota. I mean, we've got opportunities everywhere around here, including the metro area. You got trout fishing opportunities. You got other streams and rivers. You have shore fishing opportunities. And if you really want to get to that favorite lake, maybe later on in the year is the time to do it when things maybe have settled down a little bit. It's been tricky on everybody, and I feel for businesses that depend on people moving around. I get all that, but the reality is that this is where we are, and we want to stress that people follow the guidelines as closely as they can.
Okay, good enough. One last quick question. Tim Westmeister, I said, you got any questions for Parsons, Tim? And he said, back in the day, I sure could find a lot more jumbo perch than I can now. Is the DNR going to do anything to be more aggressive on managing for bigger perch? I don't know if that's on your radar or if you guys already feel like you're doing some of that.
No, well, a little bit of both. It's definitely on our radar. There's no question about that. I used to joke when I was out in Glenwood, we talked about walleye stocking, all these things. I figured if we could provide jumbo bluegills and jumbo perch, we'd probably be carried down the street in a parade. We'd be the Waterama, Grand Marshal or whatever.
I think you're onto something, yeah.
It is super important. And when we do find a good perch fishery in a lake, people really do take advantage of it. We're doing a lot of perch research now on many lakes. A lot of it has to do with some of the earlier life stages of that, because our gillnet catches of perch have been trending downward for the last 20 years. Part of that has to do with the fact that northern pike have been trending upward for the last 20 years, and they eat a lot of perch. Mm-hmm. But there's also some things that are showing that they're maturing a lot earlier. And when you're mature, you're putting energy into eggs as opposed to putting it into growth.
Interesting.
We're trying to figure out some of those things. Some of our large lakes are occasionally having some great perch fishing. I know that things on Cass are looking really good right now. Is a real good example of that. So,
okay, all right. Well, that's something we'll. Good topic to delve into more depth maybe down the road. I know you got more interviews to get to. I sure appreciate you spending this time with us, Brad, and good luck to you and your family. Be well, and good luck fishing this weekend. Absolutely, Rob. And I just want people to get out there, have fun, but be very careful and be very smart when you're doing it. Good advice. Brad Parsons, DNR Fisheries Chief. Thanks for joining me, man. You're welcome, Rob. All right, I'm Rob Drusline. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget, subscribe to Outdoor News, outdoornews.com.